Producing genetically modified salmon carries too many risks and should not be allowed. Aqua Advantage's modified salmon will be the first animal protein in history to ever be genetically engineered. Considering that it is the first animal protein to be genetically modified, there have been no tests done to other animals of the like in the past, so it is impossible to accurately measure just how risky human consumption can be. There is also no data to prove the harmful effects it has on humans. The FDA needs to perform in-depth tests and analysis on the new genetically modified animal protein before it is put on the market and sold to the consumer to ensure health and safety to those who eat the modified salmon. It is morally and ethically wrong to sell food to a consumer that could be potentially hazardous to one's health and safety. The FDA has an ethical duty to perform these tests in order to reduce the risks associated with consuming the genetically modified salmon. According to the FDA, it is unlawful to produce, process, store, ship, or sell to consumers unsafe foods for obvious health and safety concerns. The FDA performs thorough tests and analysis on genetically modified plants that humans consume. Similarly, these tests should be done to genetically modified animal protein. They are both foods that humans are consuming. Why should genetically engineered plants be tested and animal protein not be? The only way to prove that the genetically modified animal protein is hazardous to human health is to perform analysis and tests. How is one supposed to know if their genetically modified animal protein is unsafe if there have been no tests done in the past?
Producing genetically modified salmon carries too many risks and should definitely not be allowed. Testing genetically modified organisms or animals, plants as well too, usually done in test labs. How much risk is involved in testing something in a test lab? Well, it's controlled. Well, that's great. Well, who is consuming this? Or has there been any long-term testing done? Well, long-term testing usually means you have to have money, funding. So, what does the standard test actually even cover? Once again, long-term, short-term. What are we looking at? Long-term is usually over 20 years or a generation. So, before introducing a product, you need to have some kind of testing. We all know this. So how do we test it? I don't know. You got to eat it, right? Well, something that has to do with fast growing, comes to a little bit of concern. What are you actually putting in this salmon? I don't know. They're saying that it's all well and good. Well, what happens if something reacts differently to us? Are we introducing another bacteria? Is there an antibody that is blocking everything else that's in our system? Well, last time I checked, pharmaceutical companies, are trying to help us, but at the same time, seeing that we already have issues to being immune to antibiotics, why introduce another factor?